a choice. Reveal himself now, or risk losing Leah forever. But just as he opened his mouth, Victor leaned across the table, eyes narrowing. And as for you, he said coldly to Adrian, maybe it's time we find out who you really are. Victor's words at the dinner table lingered like poison. Maybe it's time we find out who you really are. The table fell silent. Leah's father glanced between them, uneasy. Adrian kept his face calm, but inside, his heart hammered like a drum. Victor smirked, leaning back. Don't worry, Boda boy. I've got friends everywhere. A man like you, easy to track. Let's see what dirt we find. Leah shifted uncomfortably. Victor, why do you always have to humiliate him? He's done nothing wrong. Victor laughed sharply. Leah, people like him, these hangers-on, they always want something. Just wait. Adrian excused himself from the table before his fists betrayed him. Outside he paced, the city lights blurring. His disguise was crumbling, faster than he'd planned. Days later, the storm broke. A man in a cheap suit approached Victor at his office. He slid a file across the desk. Victor flipped it open, and frowned. Page after page was blank. This is it. You couldn't dig up anything on him. The man scratched his head. Sir, it's strange. There's no record. No ID, no license. No bills. It's like he doesn't exist. Victor's eyes narrowed. Nobody's that invisible. Unless, he's hiding something. His smirk returned. Fine. If paper trails won't expose him, maybe pressure will. That pressure came quickly. One afternoon, Adrian arrived at the cafe only to find Victor waiting, leaning against his shiny Prado like a king guarding his throne. Adrian, Victor said smoothly, come for a ride. Leo looked uneasy, but Adrian nodded. He climbed into the car, the leather seat stiff with tension. Victor drove in silence at first, then finally spoke. You're close to Leah. Too close. I don't like it, so I'll make you an offer. Walk away, disappear, and I'll give you 500,000 shillings. Cash. Enough to start fresh anywhere else. Adrian almost laughed. 500,000. That was pocket change compared to his real wealth. But the insult burned. And if I refuse? Adrian asked quietly. Victor's eyes gleamed. Then you'll learn that poor men who stand in my way, disappear in less pleasant ways. He stopped the car outside a deserted lot. His voice dropped to a hiss. Last chance. Take the money, or take the consequences. Adrian met his gaze, unflinching. I don't want your money, and I'm not going anywhere. Victor's jaw clenched. Then you've chosen war. That night, Adrian walked Leah home. She noticed the bruise forming on his cheek from Victor's grip. What did he do to you? She demanded. Nothing I can't handle, Adrian said softly. Leah's eyes welled with tears. Why do you put yourself in danger for me? Why not just leave? Victor will never let go. Adrian hesitated. His heart screamed the truth. Because I love you. But all he said was, because you deserve someone who stands by you, not someone who chains you. Leah's hand brushed his. The air between them was charged, fragile, undeniable. For a moment, it felt like nothing else existed. But the mask nearly slipped again. A week later, Leah surprised Adrian. She invited him to Brian's school fundraiser, a small event to support kids with medical needs. Parents donated what they could, coins, food, clothes. Leah looked embarrassed as she placed a few crumpled notes in the donation box. It's all I have. Adrian's chest ached. He had the means to donate more than everyone combined, but he couldn't. Not without questions. So he dropped in a modest amount, trying to look casual. But as he walked away, Brian whispered, why don't you just give more? You're always so calm, like money isn't a problem. Leah frowned. Brian. Adrian forced a laugh, masking panic. If only it were that easy, kid. But the seed of doubt was planted. Leah studied him strangely that night, as if seeing cracks in his story. Victor, meanwhile, tightened the screws. One evening, Leah's father pulled her aside. Victor cleared more of our debts. He even offered to get me a job at his firm. Leah, this man is providing for us. You can't keep rejecting him. Her mother added softly, we just want you safe. Leah, don't let your heart blind you. Leah's throat tightened. Her parents couldn't see the bars of the cage Victor was building. To them, he was savior. To her, he was captor. And through it all, Adrian remained the quiet light, steady, constant, but hiding a truth that could shatter everything. The breaking point came one night after closing the cafe. Leah and Adrian walked under the dim streetlights when a group of men appeared, blocking their path. Message from Victor, one sneered, pulling a knife. Boda boy needs to learn respect. Adrian moved fast, fighting with skill he shouldn't have had if he were truly just a rider. He disarmed one, floored another, his movements sharp and practiced. When the men fled, Leah stared at him, breathless. Adrian, where did you learn to fight like that? Adrian froze. He hadn't thought, hadn't planned, it had just come out. I used to box. Long time ago, he muttered, avoiding her eyes. But Leah wasn't convinced. She touched his hand, her gaze searching. You're not who you say you are you? Adrian's heart pounded. The walls of his secret were crumbling, faster than he could rebuild. The night after the attack, Leah couldn't sleep. The image of Adrian moving like a trained fighter replayed in her mind. The way he dodged, the precision in his strikes, it wasn't something you picked up from street brawls. Lying on her thin mattress, she whispered into the dark, "Who are you, Adrian?" Meanwhile, Adrian sat in his dim bedsitter, fists still sore, guilt gnawing at him. Every close call, every slip, was tightening the noose. If Leah discovered his truth the wrong way, would she think he'd lied to her? That his love was just another trick wrapped in wealth? He buried his face in his hands. I'm running out of time. The next day, Victor struck again, this time not with fists, but with paper. He arrived at Leah's home with her father, carrying a folder. Inside were documents, plans for a wedding, invitations, a venue deposit, even a guest list already half-written. Leah's heart sank. Victor, I never agreed to this. Her father cut her off. Leah, please. He's securing our family's future. Don't fight this. Victor smirked, his hand heavy on her shoulder. The date is set. End of the month. It'll be the wedding of the year. Leah felt the walls closing in, her voice breaking. I don't want this. But no one listened. Adrian found her that evening by the cafe rooftop, staring at the city lights with tears streaking her cheeks. They've set the wedding, Adrian, she whispered. I don't know what to do. I feel trapped. Adrian clenched his jaw, his heart breaking. Leah, listen to me. You don't have to marry him. You deserve to choose your own life. She turned, eyes wet. And what life is that, Adrian? With you? You can barely afford rent. How will you take care of me, of Brian, of my family? I'm scared that my heart is leading me to poverty while my family drowns in debt. Adrian's chest tightened. He wanted to shout, I can give you more than Victor ever could. But instead, he just whispered, trust me, Leah. Please. Her lips trembled. For a moment, it seemed she might believe him. But then her phone buzzed, Victor again. And the fragile moment shattered. Meanwhile, Victor wasn't blind. At his office, he stared at photos spread across his desk, grainy shots of Adrian walking Leah home, sitting close at the hospital, even defending her from the thugs. Victor's jaw tightened. So the Boda boy wants to play hero. Fine. Let's see what happens when we dig deeper. He called his investigator. Forget paperwork. Follow him, day and night. I want every secret he hides. The cracks widened the following week. Leah's brother, Brian, had another attack at school. Adrian rushed him to the hospital again. When the doctor mentioned the need for an expensive specialist abroad, Leah broke down completely. I can't do this anymore, she sobbed. I can't keep begging Victor for help. Adrian reached for her, his voice shaking. Then let me help. Her eyes searched his. How, Adrian? You barely survive yourself. Unless, she stopped, realization flickering. Unless you're not who you say you are. Adrian froze, caught in the web of her gaze. But before he could answer, Victor stormed into the ward, flanked by two of his men. I heard what happened, Victor said smoothly, handing over an envelope thick with cash. He smirked at Adrian. See, Boda boy, this is what real men do. They provide. Leah's father clutched the envelope like a lifeline. Leah's mother whispered thanks through tears. But Leah looked at Adrian, her expression torn between doubt and faith. Adrian's silence screamed louder than words. The breaking point came at a charity gala Victor invited Leah's family to. It was held at one of the city's grandest hotels, ironically, a property secretly owned by Adrian's family. Adrian shouldn't have gone. He knew the risk. But when Leah asked him quietly to come, he couldn't say no. The ballroom glowed with chandeliers, guests in glittering gowns and tailored suits.